The following episode may contain sensitive content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, T-Boneski.
Hello, Nick Boneski.
Hey, A for effort. That was really good.
No, I gotta work on that one. We're gonna revise
You gotta come up with a new one.
That wasn't good.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's been a long week and it's only Wednesday, but you know what? It's just how adulting is at this point. We're always feeling like it's been a long week and it's just a start. And I made my peace with it, actually. So
Time is not your friend.
yeah. No.
It either goes by too fast or too slow.
Yeah.
So.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
It's a construct.
What's up with that? It is. Yeah. For sure.
So I have news for you. Really good news for you.
Should we introduce ourselves first?
Oh, yeah. Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody who's listening.
Welcome. Welcome to The Show Must Go On.
I'm Tracey.
And I'm Nikki. And we are here to judge, per usual. And talking about judging, I have great news for you. So I looked up today who are the older millennials, the elder millennials. We are not in that category, baby. Everyone, round of applause.
The internet lied to me?
I looked it up. People that were born from 1980 to 1985.
Okay, on the cusp.
I am borderline, but you know. Hey.
Okay.
Hey, this is a good thing.
That's okay.
I was like, thank God.
Okay, all right. That makes me feel a little bit better. Corrections corner.
Right?
I was wrong, and this is in the best way. Oh.
This is great news. This was the best way to be wrong. You know, I think it's really important that we identified as non-elder millennials. You know?
My back says otherwise. My feet, but okay.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear it. No complaints.
No complaints. These are good news, people. So if you are in the range 85 and above, no, 86 and above,
Yay!
You are not an elder millennial. So congratulations. You are still young.
85 to 80. Suck it.
Yeah. Suck it, guys. Good luck in your retirement home.
Should I get your walker for you? Do you need your dentures?
Yeah, probably. Hey, talking about like senior citizens and stuff, this has nothing to do with it, but I thought like the word citizenship, brought it up for me.
Yes.
Yesterday, I was so successful because I got my Florida ID and I registered to vote. And I am so proud of myself.
Good for you. That's amazing.
Tracy, I have built it up in my head how tedious it was going to be just doing it, like having to go to the DMV and like going through this whole I had built a whole ass soap opera in my head. I'm like, this is gonna take me 100 million hours. I'm gonna be there fucking forever. And it took me 1 hour of my day without an appointment.
Amazing.
Yes.
We love that.
And even getting like the paperwork for it, it wasn't a driver's license, it was a Florida ID that I needed. And I'm like, and my purpose was because I need to be registered to vote. You know, I want to vote. It is important for me to vote. So I was like, oh my God, the paperwork is going to be insane. So I look it up and it's like, no, you just need like 2 like bills basically, or like 2 government documents that say the address of where you live. If you a U.S. ID would be my passport, and then your social security. That's all I needed. I got there. I was ready to be there for like 4 to 5 hours. I got there at 7:34. I was done by 8:20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I gotta say, that location, like, you can tell that they were a well-oiled machine. Like,
yeah,
they had their shit together. The moment I was in line, people that work there, they were like, okay, what's your case? And they would give you a number. And then everyone goes in. And they put everyone in front of an agent so fucking fast. I was like, oh. And they're like, yeah, just move to the right, smile, picture. Okay, here it is. Confirm that's in. Register to vote? Yes. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. I was like, done.
Great.
So if you are, this is a lesson for everyone. If you're one of those people like me, that I built a whole scenario that's not gonna fucking happen, first of all.
It's called
anxiety. That's my fucking anxiety talking, and holding me back from fucking doing things, you know, which I fucking hate, but whatever, you know. If you're one of those people and you need to get like small things done, first of all, look it up and see if you can get an appointment. Probably getting an appointment, it was even like 20 minutes maybe.
It helps to be prepared beforehand. But
just prepare beforehand, but go for it. Just fucking do it. Yeah. It's not that big of a deal, you know, especially like yesterday. I was prepared to be there, Tracey, until like the afternoon, and I was done so fast that somebody asked me to cover them for a noon class, and I was like, yeah, I'm home.
Great.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it's like one of those things that is like, why did I could have done this months ago. Months ago, but I had built it up in my head that it was going to be such a big fucking deal, that I needed a lot of paperwork, which I didn't fucking need, and that it was going to take me a whole day, and I just kept fucking dreading it. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it. And I said, if I get there and they're like, this is not the paperwork, whatever, you know, it is what it is. I'll go another day, you know. And it wasn't even that. I got it done so fast. I was so proud of myself. I registered to vote, and I'm just high on adulting from that moment. I was like, wow, because like those are the things that when we're young, our parents take care of. You know, passports, shit like that. You know, they kind of take that off our plates. You know, but it wasn't that bad.
That's usually how it is. It's usually not that bad. Like you said, because I'm totally guilty of every time building things up and being like,
everything is
this
bad.
Is going to go wrong. It's like Murphy's Law. This is going to go wrong. That's going to go wrong. That's not going to go my way. And I'm just trying to come up with, because if things do go bad, I know I probably won't react well, which is why I try to prepare. You know, but
well, they also like I did that. I like picture it in my head. I was like, well, if they say like this is not the paperwork, so fucking what? Go home. You go another day.
Not life or death.
And also, you're gonna know what you need.
Exactly.
They're actually gonna be like, this is not it, but this is your solution.
Right.
So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why was I so fucking stressed out about the most simple shit in the world? So whatever it is that you guys need to do out there, I'm pretty sure it's so easy and you have it so complicated in your head. So fucking go for it, risk it, go. The worst thing that can happen that they say, oh no, so it's not the moment. You go somewhere else another day. Period.
There you go.
Period.
Life lessons from Nikki.
Literally. Literally.
It's true, though. You're 1,000% right.
But yeah, I'm really proud of myself for registering to vote.
That is amazing. Yeah, good for you. That's great.
Yeah. It's my first time voting in this country, so, you know, and we have like a nice option now. So, you know, it's not another senior citizen. So, you know, we out here.
Yeah, not another old white man. Like, there's at least a little bit of variety.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Good for you.
So, tell me about P. Diddy and what you read today.
Okay, so for the viewers, this was literally like 5 minutes before we started recording. And
the listeners.
Oh, yeah. So I had just seen that, sorry, because I'm looking up the article. So it had said, the Diddy's list dropped of all these people that are like being implicated. And I looked it up, and there are some articles, and I know there's going to be way more, but this is just what I'm seeing right now. So I'll just go through really quickly, because this just, to me, like, this whole thing is just fascinating, because I know that there are going to be people, and I'll probably read a couple names, that you go, what the fuck? Seriously? So,
and, like, you don't have to read the names that we have no fucking idea who they're talking about. You can tell us.
There's a few.
Who we know. I'm scared.
So, this is coming from a music producer. His name is Rodney Jones, and he has filed a $30 million lawsuit against Diddy. Now, this was in February, but all of this is coming out now, I guess. So he's accused Diddy of grooming and sexual misconduct, and that Jones had accused Diddy of participating in drug and sex trafficking activities. And then these are some of the people that were also named. So it's funny because there's a lot of redacted names. So, for example, it says a redacted name of a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. Now, I'm going to reach out and say that might be Meek Mills. That's my guess.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Then this one, too. A Grammy...
Because I think they were friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that Nicki Minaj dated Meek Mills, like, for a while, too.
Oh, yeah.
And he might be from Philly. A Grammy award-winning R&B singer who had trouble with law enforcement after assaulting a billionaire whose name was also redacted.
I have to look that one up.
Right, so I'm not, but, I mean, a Grammy award-winning R&B singer, so I'm like, cool.
There's not that many, so we can find them.
Oh, this one I was...
Write it down, listeners.
Yeah, I know. Please play FBI for us. Figure out who it is and let us know.
Yes.
This one I was like, what? Prince Harry. So, according to court documents, Jones alleges Combs' associates gain access to international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry. Now, I guess they've reached out to him and he has not commented yet. And also, it's like with his uncle, Prince Andrew, being involved with all the Epstein stuff. So, you kind of have to wonder, could it be true? I mean, especially when he was younger, like, he was a bad boy, right? Like, him and William, like, they were partying and doing all that stuff. So I'm like, maybe in the 90s, it's possible.
This is scary. That scares me a little bit.
I know. Cassie was named in it.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like she's a victim, so.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of other names that I'm not 100% sure who they are because they're songwriters or producers.
Okay.
So, but to me, those were like the bigger names that stood out, especially Prince Harry.
Any big names, like any other big names that we know or no?
Well, that's all that he mentioned in his lawsuit.
Okay.
But
I'm just scared of like J-Lo. I'm scared Beyonce.
Because with
like,
Jay-Z,
we can't lose her.
I could have sworn that I saw Sofia
like, I don't care
Vergara.
about Jay-Z. I saw, well, there was a TikTok. You know, they put a bunch of fucking celebrities, but I'm like, okay, I am sure he wasn't doing these specific parties in front of everyone, you know?
Right, because I know he had white parties where people like the dress in white. So
Yeah,
like
I don't
probably had
think-
different levels.
Yeah, like
So-
also, you know, if you're doing something like that, I mean, he got away with it for so many years because he's
Decades,
stupid
yeah.
about it. You
Yeah.
know, he makes sure that people that were there he can fucking manipulate.
Right. And again, signing
know,
NDAs and whatever. So
I just feel bad for Justin Bieber. All the shit that's coming out.
I do feel
You
bad for
know.
him too, because I feel like it's easy to, when you see a celebrity break down and be like, why are they getting DUIs? Like, why are they cracked out?
Oh,
Like, what's
yeah.
wrong with them? They look disheveled, and why are they getting arrested?
That's me judging them.
Yeah, and then you read something like this and you go, oh,
This
it
explains
explains a lot, and you see things too. Like, they show clips of, like, there was a clip that I saw where it was Diddy confronting Justin, and he was young, like he had just started, and he was like, yo, why you not returning my calls? Are you trying to ignore me? And he tried to brush it off like, oh, no, not at all. Like, I've been busy, you know, with music and stuff. But maybe I don't have your number right. Like, put it in my phone.
Oh my god.
You know?
There was a lot. All of the Kardashians they're saying a lot of things. There's a clip of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where Chloe is saying, I went to this party, this Diddy party, and everyone there was butt naked. Like, this is in the show. And I'm talking about like years, like 8 years ago probably.
Yeah.
So God knows what she saw there, and that whole family is friends with him. So
Also, like, with Kanye too, because I saw this interview. I think she was like a model. I'm not 100% sure who she is, so I don't remember her name. But she was talking about how she went to like the studio, one of the studios they were recording, and it was just her, and I think her manager was there. It was Kanye, Diddy, like his bodyguard, the music producer, and like some other, I think it was like Kanye's cousin or something. And her manager got up to like go to the bathroom and left this poor girl by herself. And she said that Kanye and Diddy were like pawing at her and trying to get her to take off her pants. And she's looking at these other guys like, help me. And she said literally, she was like, I will never forget this. That I think it was like the cousin or the bodyguard. He turned his chair around. Like, so his back would be to her. So it's like, oh, I'm not seeing anything.
oh my god, kill
Yeah.
me. No, I
Yeah.
can't.
So it's like, wow, they didn't, like, these people don't stop these things from happening. And she said they were
I know.
probably
So
on
there's
drugs,
a-
but that doesn't excuse their behavior. But I don't know.
So this law firm came out. It's called like Buzz something. You know, saying like we'll represent some of the victims. You know, and they got over 3,000 victims, and they're representing 120 victims. Because they went with the ones that have, you know, more evidence, and, you know,
Sure.
the ones that they can like actually win, because they're filing a lawsuit from each one of the victims.
Wow.
Against him and against other people. They did not say. Against other powerful people. And one of the victims was 9 years old, and he was a boy. They range from that age all the way until like 19, 20. And yeah, they're filing a lawsuit for each one of them, which is...
That's amazing. That's a lot of work, but that's amazing because just to...
That's a lot of work.
Get some justice, though.
But also, like, if you think about it, over 3,000 people, and I just want the listeners to know, I know a lot of people are going to say, like, oh, yeah, because they'll win money. And I'm like, no victim wants to fucking speak about their trauma. Nobody wants to speak about it. Nobody. It's embarrassing. It's reliving it. Like, there's so many things that this is not productive for them or making them feel any fucking better. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to do the right thing.
And they were probably threatened at the time. Like, if you fucking tell anybody, you know? Like, you live in fear.
And also somebody's offering to represent them.
Yeah.
You don't get that opportunity all the time. So, yes, like, I believe that over 3,000 people that they received calls from were fucking victims.
Right. I mean,
you know,
I just find it hard to believe where it's like you have all these people coming forward, and if there is like evidence, you know, if they say, well, I have video, I have recordings, I have pictures, I have text messages, thank you. So it's like you have actual physical evidence. I mean, all those people can't be lying. Like,
I know. When there's a saying in Spanish that when the river is making a sound, it's because water is coming. Mm-hmm. So it's coming. And you know what? I'm like really, really happy for the people that get some kind of justice, because it'll never be actual justice, but something, you know.
Right. I think just to be acknowledged too.
But I do want to know all these celebrities that were involved in this bullshit, you know?
Right. And it's like...
Because that's really scary.
Right. And I'm sure some people, they didn't necessarily do anything nefarious, you know? Like, sexually abuse someone. But, I mean, maybe they were witnesses. Or, I mean... They,
and didn't say anything.
Right. Or they could have participated in the sense of, you know... drinking, doing drugs, whatever, but yikes.
Yeah, yikes is right. Okay, so we'll put that away so we can move on to happier things,
for now.
Which are all the fucking trailers that are coming out. I don't know if you saw it, the Nicole Kidman one, Baby Girl. Steamy as fuck. And I just gotta say, Nicole Kidman and the youth. You know, she been doing these movies where she's always with a younger dude, and I'm kind of loving it. You know, when we posted it, my little sister messaged the account, and she goes like, "Yeah, now she's only like doing movies with younger guys," and I'm like, I ain't mad about it. She's living her best life, you know. And I had seen after The Perfect Couple, I saw this TikTok or a meme that it said like, Nicole Kidman only chooses roles where she's rich and she has some wind on her face. The colors that she wears are pastel colors and she's drinking wine, and I love her for it. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. You know, she's so elegant.
Right.
You know, she's literally being typecasted, and I don't think anybody can play it better than her.
Typecasted in the best way, though.
She's so talented. Exactly. Yeah. I want to be typecasted as a rich person all the time.
And you know? Like, I think you had mentioned something like that to me, and I was like, oh, let me go through her IMDb. And literally, it was like everything. Yeah, she was like a rich person or like a queen or a princess or like some sort of like royalty.
She isn't poor. She doesn't take those roles.
Nope.
I love
But
it.
yeah,
I fucking
good for
love
her.
it.
I mean, she like churns out these movies left and right, so good for her.
And she does a great job in all of them.
She is excellent. So
you know,
keep it up.
The other trailer that I actually saw today was it's a biopic of Robbie Williams. Jesus Christ, Robbie Williams. So he's gonna be portrayed by a monkey. I have no fucking idea why. He's always said that his life hasn't been like that. He's not a normal person. But the whole time I was like, what the fuck? Well, I was watching it, so I'm kind of interested because I really liked his music. His first album was like so fucking good too. So I'm interested to see the purpose of why they decide to portray him like that.
Right. That's interesting.
And the other thing that I was gonna bring up is that Squid Games season 2 comes out December 26th. It's like a fucking Christmas gift.
Seriously.
And it's a Tracy's birthday gift.
Happy birthday to you.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like it's been forever. Like it's been a long time
know.
coming. So I just hope it's as good as the first season. Because it was so good.
I'm sure. I think it will be.
Fingers crossed.
I think so. I don't know.
I mean,
I think
I have high hopes. But you know, there's always like a little bit of
high hopes for
a little bit of nervousness because first season was just so good,
so great, so great.
So
but
good. I'll watch it either way, so I'm excited.
Anything else you like watched over the week aside of what we're discussing today?
Well, you had mentioned last week about the Pop Academy. And I told you when we were signing off, and I said, well, I think I know what I'm watching tonight. And I did. I made myself something to eat, and I started watching it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
It's so good. And how talented are these girls?
To me, it was just the progression. Because some of them, I'm going to be honest, like in the beginning, some of them, like, not terrific singers. Not fabulous dancers.
Yeah.
Like, they could move. Yeah, they could carry a tune. But to see them, like, after a year, and listen, they put in the work.
2 years.
But even just a year. Even just 1 year.
Yeah, because some of them came in later.
And I was like, wow, holy crap. And then by the 2-year mark, it was total transformation. Like, not even the same girls, you know? I mean, listen, when you're like sleeping, eating, breathing, dancing, and singing all day long, I mean, we know like you're hopefully going to progress. But still, just to see that, and I mean, that's hard work. Like, I commend them for doing that. You know, and some of them, they were like 14, 15 years old. Although
babies.
I did think they were pretty nice to them, though. Like, it was...
100%. It's a whole new world.
Like, it was nice to be like, we're not telling you these things to be mean. Like, we are telling you so you can work on it to be better because we want you to be better. We want you to succeed so badly. Probably more than you want to. So...
And also, like, you see it clicking it in their heads. Like I loved Daniela at the beginning. I was like, she's an amazing dancer. But there's nothing going on.
Yeah, like her face,
and
nothing, dead.
And suddenly something clicked. Like when they were like, your facial expression's beautiful, and she's like, thank God. Because I was like, like that's when it started clicking for her, that it's like, you're a good dancer, but you cannot rely on that.
I think
you have to be more than that.
It was the son. I think he said something like, you're boring me. Like you're boring. Like there's some your face. Like you're not in it. You're boring to me. And she was like, hell no, I don't want to be boring. So. Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it very much. So
I really right. I enjoyed it a
Yeah.
lot, and I follow all of them.
Yeah, I mean, they have like
Instagram.
some songs on Spotify. Great, let's go. Shout out to Cat's Eye. Yeah, good for them. Congrats.
So everyone, go ahead and watch Pop Academy. It's Tracey approved. It's Nikki approved. So
yeah, it's fun. It's good.
It's a must watch. Yeah, it's a feel good show too.
For sure.
It's not like oh my god, like I kind of like it. You can zone out in it. It's a good reality show.
What about you?
Let me see. Did I watch something else extra? I don't think so. I was watching what we're discussing today, but I also been watching like Monsters. I do want to watch the Monsters and Dance Moms, but I do want to watch the new show with Kristen Bell that everyone's talking about. That she's a podcaster and she meets this guy who was the guy from the OC.
Oh, I can picture his doofy face.
That one.
What's his name?
Yeah. So
yes, I know who you're talking about.
I want to watch it. Everyone's talking about it, so I guess I'll get on to it. So, yeah. But I guess it's time for us to talk about what we're watching, what we're discussing today. 10. Monster. Which I gotta say, Ryan Murphy, dude, the amount of money that this guy is making. So I don't know if you know, but well, you know, Tracey, but I don't know if the listeners know, but Grotesquerie came out last week or 2 weeks ago. That's a Ryan Murphy show. This show that we're discussing today is a Ryan Murphy show. The Odyssey Doctor with Joshua Jackson, where he's like a doctor on a cruise. That's Ryan Murphy's. And
911.
911. All these came out in the last 2 weeks.
And I'm sure there's way more.
And I'm like, oh, 100%. The money is just
He's
flying out.
got his hands in everything.
Nice.
But I mean,
like, make that money.
Exactly.
Do it. And you know, these are good shows. I really like his style when he's a creator, because I really like Dahmer, you know. So
I have to be honest.
Yeah,
I didn't finish it. I know. I had like 2 episodes left. It's like after they arrested him and like after the trial. So like when he's in prison. Like it's such a heavy show.
So dark.
And just like the families when they got up to give their testimony, and just you could feel the raw emotion. Like it. I mean, okay, listen, the acting, it's amazing. You know, like you have to give it to them. That's why I couldn't finish watching it, because it just felt so real. And like I know what happens to him. So
yeah, you know, but finish it when you are feeling like, hey, I'm brave enough today.
So never.
No rush on that. It's just really fucking dark. And talking about dark, today's discussion is dark as fucking fuck.
Yeah, dark as fucking fuck.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Like, oh my gosh, we have to prepare ourselves.
Wow, it is. Okay, so for the listeners, I'm sure you've already watched it, because we did tell you guys last week that we were going to be discussing this today. So this is a story about Lyle and Erik Menendez, which are the children of Kitty. I didn't like that they call her that, Kitty and Jose Menendez. So it's basically... Yeah, it had nothing to do with
her name is like Mary
Kitty.
Louise.
Like, why?
She really like cats.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't know this, in 1989, these 2 boys murdered their parents. And for, I want to say like 2 months after, they did that. They basically lived their best lives.
Yes.
And pretended that they didn't do it, lied to everyone, kept pointing to the mafia, and this show is basically portraying all of that. I'm sure there's like a few moments of, that were like created by the show, just, to give a little bit more fiction, and all that stuff. But it's pretty much the whole story there. And I like that it gave us like different points of view. Mm-hmm. Because I think that matters a lot in this case. Right. A lot. Yeah. I remember the first time I listened about this case, my first reaction to it was like, these boys are so fucking spoiled, and I can't believe they're saying that his dad was molesting them or sexually assaulting them. And, watching the show and then, like, reading a little bit, like, while I was watching, I was like, wait, is this real? Like, there's, like, witnesses and like, circumstantial evidence that, that could have happened. Mm-hmm. And I'm still, like, shocked that it was that bad, that was the way that they chose to get out of it.
I think it's like Gypsy Rose. Where
that they don't think there's any other way.
They feel helpless, they're scared, trapped, like their home is a prison. Like, I mean, if it's anything like it actually was in the show, how controlling their father was. It was like, when even there's that scene when he tells Erik, like, you're going to go to UCLA and you're not going to dorm. You're going to stay at home so I can keep an eye on you. Like, you're 18 years old. Like, you want to go out and start being independent and trying to find yourself and live your life. Like, college is such an important part of that. And to have your parents be like, no, you're going to stay under our thumb.
And having, like, Erik wanted to be kind of like a model or acting school.
Right.
And the dad was like, no.
You're going to go into this profession. You're going to go into business. And then, Lyle, you're going to go into this business. You're going to be a politician just like me. So, I mean, even if there was no sexual abuse, if he was that controlling and, verbally abusive, because there were witnesses, like coaches, that would say that he called them such demeaning names. I think even for the average person, that is enough reason to snap. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of see it, where it's like, you have someone who's so controlling and telling you that you can't live your life the way you want to. You have to do it this way. And I mean, the fact that they were 18 and 21, so your brain is not fully developed. I think that is a factor. And also,
if you think about it, what you were saying, like, well, now that I think about it, what you were saying of, like, controlling. Because, I think, they did kill their parents while the parents were sleeping, which is super fucked up. But their parents had created such a bad atmosphere at home. Even when they were out, they felt like their parents wanted to get them somehow. You know what I mean? Like, even when they were in that yacht and the parents are, like, talking and all this stuff, and they're like sitting next to each other, and it's like we got this. Like, I feel like the trauma was so big and heavy already that they felt like anything that they would do would be the end of them.
And Jose was probably unpredictable with his moods. It was like he could be calm and then all of a sudden explosive. So it's like you don't know what to expect from someone like that. And I think that's really scary. So, again, like, they go shark hunting out in the middle of the ocean, and they're thinking this is a perfect place to shoot us and dump our bodies. Like, they're running through worst case scenarios.
And I think that's the trauma created by the parents.
1,000%.
You know? And let's just talk about that first episode and the setup to the rest of the show, which I loved how it was done.
Mm-hmm.
I love that from the moment it starts, they dragged us in, and even if you don't know this case from before, you would have been sucked in completely.
1,000%. Yeah.
The way that it was filmed, like so, like perfectly done, in the sense of, they're showing us everything through the Menendez brothers' eyes the whole time. But then they show us another point of view, like per episode, basically, I want to say. And to see that from the beginning and have change of heart as the show goes constantly.
I was flipping and flopping.
You feel different.
Yeah, every scene.
You're constantly feeling different. Yes. You're like, oh, I'm like, well, yeah, like if you didn't rape them, And then I was like, oh, these kids are pieces of shit. Like, I was all over the fucking place. But again, I'm talking from a privileged point of view. I have never been through any of that. And I gotta say this, like, I feel like that amount of money brings so many issues to families. It's insane. Like, you even think about without the sexual assault.
Yeah, of course.
Having that amount of money and threatening your kids for them not to get anything.
You're out of the will.
That was like his go-to. Yeah. It's just, it breaks my heart to like people that put so much value in money. It's not in your character, how good of a heart you have, how responsible you are. None of that. It's the money. Always. That's the value of you. How much money do you make? And it's just really heartbreaking because it felt like the dad and the mom, that's all they thought about. Even when Lyle tried to bring a girlfriend and they were like, no, she basically is a hoe and she got no money.
Right, yeah. They're like, oh, her family is trash. You're not dating her. It was all about appearances and reputation.
Motherfucker, it really upsets me as a person that's an immigrant. It's like, you came from a third world country. Get your shit together. You come here, you forget where you came from? Like, no. It really, really gets me mad. But yeah, that first episode right away, they show us, how they like just walk into the den where the TV is and the parents are there, and they just shoot them with shotguns. And many fucking times.
Yes, it was 14. Yeah, so I think Jose was shot 5 times and their mother was shot, I guess, 9? Do the math, I guess.
And the fact that, like, he goes out
to reload.
They go out and he's like, I'm gonna finish her. Oh my God.
Yeah. I know. It's hard because the show it's monsters, right? And that is such a monstrous act.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But
it really is. I think like to kill your parents, it must be really fucking dark, I don't think, when they were, when they went to court and. I don't think it's a moment's choice. You really don't just choose that because they are your parents. It's something you've been thinking about. Like, this is somebody you fucking love or loved, it's just heartbreaking because then I think I'm like, if all the allegations are true and these kids were being molested by their father and raped by their father, that's all the love that they knew.
Very toxic,
you know,
because they kept saying, like, I loved my father, I wanted to be like him, like, he's such a role model, he was such a hard worker. So,
and having the other parents basically look away.
Yeah, like, what a mind fuck. I mean, even with Erik talking about his sexuality, like, I don't know if I'm gay. I don't know if I'm straight, because he didn't have the opportunity to probably explore that himself. Like, 6 years old, and you have your father touching you a certain way, and you don't want to like it, but of course it's gonna feel good. I mean, that fucks you up in the head.
Really, really
so badly.
And you know, how specific it was, like what they used, and the fact that Lyle started doing it to his brother, because basically that's what he learned. You know, that's how I'm gonna have power over him.
Yeah.
And when they were talking about the objects that were being used and all this stuff, it was so specific. You know, I don't think, for more than you think that a person is, it's just really hard. Like, I go back and forth with that, because I think, like, it was so specific. Such specific things, like a toothbrush. I've never fucking heard of that. You know? Never. And we're in the future of when that happened. You know? And I've never heard of that. And you know that the whatever it was, like a type of gel or something, like specific
Vaseline
stuff
or something, I think.
Vaseline or something, you know, that if you think about it, you know, he was just trying to adjust them for him to be able to penetrate them.
I mean, the progression of things, because it was like, how did it start? And it was massages, and you think, okay, like, that seems realistic. You know, so it was like everything that was happening, it was like grooming them to eventually have anal sex.
Yeah. And then you think of Erik saying, I don't remember a time that it wasn't happening.
God.
So basically, when it wasn't happening, he wasn't conscious enough, because he was probably a baby.
Yeah.
A baby. I'm talking about a baby, because we don't remember, like, when we were 2-3 years old, but we have memories of 4 or 5, 6, you know? So it's just the fact that he doesn't know anything else.
Right. And the emotional part of it too. Because, like, he called it different things, like nice sex, rough sex. So it's like, you probably started with the nice sex, and I was like, when these things were
mouth massage,
when these things were happening, saying like, you're such a good boy, or I love you, so you're like love bombing them, so you associate these acts with feeling loved. I mean, oh my God.
Let's talk about the fact that we do live in a really different time, you know. Because if you are a coach and you are seeing that your client, after the session, has to go shower with their dad, I would have said something already, not to them, but to the police.
Yeah.
You know, immediately. You know? But, you know, back then it wasn't like that. Like, people did not think like that. But the fact... This is why I say that they weren't lying. When you have people that were not related to them saying these things, I'm sorry, a father taking a shower with their 17-year-old, the repercussions of that, if they weren't doing anything, let's say they weren't doing anything.
That's, yeah.
The repercussions of showering with any of your parents naked at At 17 years old, no. Like, no. No.
Even like when he was saying about how his mom checked his penis.
Oh my.
I want to make sure you don't have any STDs and you're not going to have AIDS and all that stuff.
Take me to the fucking doctor.
Like, even that alone is mortifying. Yeah, like you said, just go to the doctor.
And who taught you this? Yeah. Who taught Kitty that? Who told Kitty that that's how you treat your children?
Right. I mean, I think that's the thing, too, is, like, she wasn't innocent in this. Because, like they said, she knew. She had to have known.
Yeah, and she...
And you choose not to say anything.
She's a mother. Mothers have the intuition.
Exactly.
You know? And she chose to look a fucking way. Ay, Dios mío. I forgot about that part where she's checking his penis.
Yeah. Pull your pants down. I gotta check. I gotta look. He was like...
And right there in the living room.
Like, he's going to the kitchen and get a snack. Like,
yeah. All I kept hearing was Trey being like, oh my fucking God. Like, whispering.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also thought about the fact that when they were, I don't know if you noticed this, many scenes were like that at the table, at the dining table. It was always an attack to the kids. Like, they worked as a union, the parents, you know, but it wasn't a union to, you know, protect them. It was to attack them.
Yeah.
At that scene when she takes the wig off of his head, which, by the way, I wasn't expecting. Is that real or not? Do you have something about that in the fun facts? Like, did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, so he is bald.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was like losing his hair. Like, definitely. I think that's really how it was. Because he had some on the side, but it was like, on the top. So.
Got it. I wasn't sure if that was like a thing
real.
that happened.
In 1988, his father took him to get a wig, and it was like $1,200 or something. It was really expensive, but yeah. No, that was real.
I mean, it looked, so. And for her to just like rip that off,
which must have hurt, because like you have to like seal it on your head, and he had like
he was like bleeding a little bit.
Yeah, like you have to have like a certain thing done for your hair to stay on like that. So for her to rip it off, I bet some skin came with it.
Oh, 100%. I think he was bleeding.
Yeah,
after it. It just like shows you, because I think at some point they show her with a doctor, and she's like, I fucking hate my kids.
She's like going to psychiatrist or whatever.
And I kept thinking, well, if you hate them, imagine how much they hate you for not doing anything to protect them.
And she said one of her reasons was because those boys took him away from me, like Jose or whatever. Ew. And it's like, okay, even still, like, those are your children, and you shouldn't.
They are your children.
Treat them the way that you did. I mean, assuming that any of this is true, which the wig thing was, I read that she really did pull his hairpiece off, which that's so humiliating. Like, even if it is just in front of family. Devastating. And then that's when Erik, seeing what had happened to his brother, he was like, I'm going to tell him what's been happening, you know, with the sexual abuse. So that's really kind of what snowballed everything. So imagine if she hadn't done that. Exactly. So imagine if she hadn't had done that, maybe it would have been fine. But it's like people reach a breaking point.
But it was like fucking living in a hellhole.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine.
There's so many things. Like, let's talk about Dr. O'Seal. That was his. That's
Yeah.
how you say it?
Yeah. What, like, I know they were, like, court mandated to go and see a therapist, but, like, how did they get this guy?
Well,
Because he did not seem qualified at all.
I also think, like, it was one of those things that it's one of those things that probably for him as a therapist, he was like, I'm just here for the money. You know, I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, from the beginning, like even before, you know, the murder and everything, I think if you have clientele like that, I don't think he was focusing on helping them. I think, especially clientele with money, that doesn't really want to dig in and be better because they think, you know, they can't. They can't get better than that. You know, all they've known their whole life has been a disaster. So I think he, you know, kept thinking like, fuck this. I'm just going to talk to them and not really go extra hard in it. You know, not dig deep because, yeah, he asked him, but why? Why did you want? But he didn't dig deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? Because, like, when did you start thinking of this? Like, those are the questions that matter the most. Like, what did he do to you that you feel like that's your only way out?
Yeah, I think if he had been a good therapist, he would have had them say, like, I was sexually abused by my father. And, I mean, they would have opened up to him. Like, you're going to open up to your lawyer. Like, they went into such detail with her. So, I mean, there had to have been
because
a comfortability. And
deep.
yes, it was like, you're going to tell me, like, what went on.
She was like, but why? Like, why? Why? Tell me why you decided to do this. And I think nobody pushed them that hard. Nobody said, like, get out of your fucking comfort zone and tell me the real reason. You don't wake up one day and you say, I'm going to kill my parents just cuss.
No.
Like, that's not a thing.
I don't think so.
You know, there's always something, you know? There's layers, always.
I just don't think.
I want to talk about
real quick. Like, I don't think that was his typical clientele because his office looked a little run down, and
also like one of his clients he ended up sleeping with.
He was having an affair with a client, and on top of it, I don't think he really was getting paid because first of all, his license was suspended, and he was having people do favors for him in exchange for therapy.
Yeah.
So.
Which is so weird.
Yeah. Yikes.
I wanted to talk about wait, give me 1 second. I just need to turn the light on back there because I don't like it dark and I'm here by myself.
Spooky.
Spooky Halloween. Get stressed out.
I get it.
Okay. So, the actress that played the lawyer, who is she?
She did amazing.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I thought the acting in general was phenomenal. Like, I was really, really impressed with everyone, but she was
Leslie Abramson.
Amazing. That's her character's name.
That was the name of her. Yeah.
Oh, so her real name is Ari Graynor.
Oh. Okay.
Amazing. And she actually, like, I looked up pictures and she does look like the real.
Yes, she looks like her. She did a great freaking job playing that role. I want to say, let's talk about episode 5. I've been thinking about that the whole time. I'm not sure if you noticed.
The Hangman or the Hurt Man? Is that the one where it's just...
I'll tell you right now what episode.
It's the one with Erik
Man.
where he's sitting in the room talking to her, and it's literally just the one camera angle, and it just through the episode slowly zooms in until it's on his face at the very end. I was like, that was probably one of my favorite episodes.
I want to say that was insane, and also like the fact that you can see, because as you get closer, you're like, okay, they cut there, but you can see that the takes were like 10 minutes at least, and I don't know the process of filming this, but it looked so natural that in my head what I was thinking that they did for the actor was like, okay, I want you to read all of this. This is what he said happened.
And now just tell it.
And tell it however you want to tell it. We're not going to write a script for you. Just say it how you think he would have said it. Period. Like, these are the facts. Learn them and then tell us. And I think that's what they did, because that was...
Right. Because to me, it's just like the little...
What a great episode.
I really enjoyed it, and it was the shortest one, too. It was like 36 minutes compared to the other ones, which were like 50 plus. But... like you said, it was just so realistic and raw, and it's just the little things when they stumble over their words, or it's like, like they're searching for it. And even at one point, his lawyer Leslie clears her throat, just like little things like that, because I feel like a lot of the times they try to edit those things out, but that happens
she did
in
clear
real life,
I remember
like during
that.
a conversation.
She's like,
right.
Yeah. And it made me feel like I was in the room with them. I'm just like watching him tell his story, and it's just seeing him tell it in a way that was so honest. That's when I started feeling like more compassion for him. Not as much for Lyle, but for him. I was like, this kid didn't have a chance.
Yeah, it seemed like he really got it the worst.
He didn't get anything. He got it the worst. The fact that he doesn't know what was alive without his dad abusing him. Emotionally and physically.
And even like his brother a little bit, his mom, like he was getting it from everybody. That episode was rough. I did tear up like a couple times. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's rough to hear about something like that.
It's heartbreaking.
So that's why I'm like, the acting.
And both actors that portrayed the Menendez brothers,
and they like really haven't done much.
Shit. That's what I was gonna say. I've never heard these names ever. I'm like, where did they get them from? But I also feel like that's Ryan Murphy's thing.
He loves discovering new talent.
He likes.
He gets a boner for it,
which I he really does.
Yeah, especially when they're good looking too. Like, I mean, both these guys
and gay.
Well, the one guy who plays Erik,
I think both of them are
Erik.
gay
The guy who plays Erik, he is gay in real life. I don't think the guy who plays
Lyle
I don't
is
think
not.
so.
Oh, okay.
He is in Grotesquerie, which is funny. Another Ryan Murphy project. I saw it on his IMDb. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like once you're in, you're in. Yep. Which is great.
Ryan,
just one thing, get the ball rolling, right?
Please. I want to be in and then in again,
In.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
Not the Menendez parents' way. Just like in the show.
You mean acting.
I know, right? So let's also talk about the doctor's relationship with that other patient, which I thought it was hilarious. I also thought she did a fucking great job. But the moment he calls her and he's like, you have to be here in the office. You know, I know we're going back and forth, but we have to be here in the office. I need a witness. I need people to believe me.
And she's like, so I have to go there and get my head shot off? Like, they're going to kill me too.
Another amazing actress. She did a great job too. And, well, you'll probably tell me this, but I didn't know if that was a real relationship or not. Like, if that actually happened. Because if it did, holy shit.
Wow. I think the majority of what is in the show, for the most part, seems fairly accurate.
Okay, because, I was like, is it that? I can't remember.
So, yes, that he was having an affair with this patient, and she went to the police, which I think is so funny, turns in the brothers, but then she testifies for them, like, in their defense, like, saying that Dr. Oziel had his license suspended, he was doing therapy for people in exchange for favors, that he was, that he had sexually assaulted her and was giving her pills that she didn't want, all that stuff. And she actually did say, I think it was Leslie said something about, like, did you ever want to have children with him? And she really did say, I don't want my kids to look like Dr. Oziel. She really did say that.
I have to look that doctor up to see how he's looking. But I wonder if that doctor, like, went to jail or, like, had to do some kind of, because what he was doing, it was illegal as fuck. You know, if your license is suspended and you're treating people.
Well, yeah, I mean, that alone, yikes.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works, because I know it is, like, there is a patient-therapist, like, confidentiality, but I don't know if it breaks if you confess to a crime, especially if it's murder. If that's, like, out the window, and then they can go to the cops.
Yeah.
So I
also thought that you, for example, if you're a therapist, I think there's a thing that if they've committed a crime, you have a duty to tell.
So, yeah, that's what I would think.
But I think there is. So when they were like, no, like, there's, like, confidentiality and all this, I'm like, well, he's not a lawyer. That's the only time that happens. But even with doctors, if you murder someone, you have to report it.
Priests, they're supposed to.
So,
like in confession.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. So I don't know. I found that super weird. But I wanted to talk about Lyle calling, talking to that one girl.
Norma?
That was writing the book and recording him.
That's one of the times when it's like, I didn't like Lyle, was in moments like that when it's like he's on the phone, she's recording him, and he's like, yeah, I put on such an amazing act on the stand, people are gonna believe me, blah blah blah. And then his lawyer confronts him and is like, you got fucking recorded and you said all these things. And he's like, I never said it. And she's like, bitch, we have receipts.
It's on tape.
It's fucking on tape. Yeah.
Literally.
Like, you can't refute that. That was you. And he's still in denial.
Yeah.
So that's like the rich kid coming out to me, where it's like, just take some accountability.
And I think it was it's like a projection. Like, I feel like that's the only way he knew how to, like, get out of things, Yeah. Because he didn't learn any
Deny.
Like, his parents never sat him down and were like, hey, like, sometimes it's really important for you to take responsibility for your... I from what I saw in the show and what I've heard about this case, I don't think I ever would see those parents. I mean, they're dead, so oops. But I don't think they would have ever done that. Like, it doesn't seem like the kind of parents where the kids ever felt safe to speak about their feelings, or that the parents made an environment where they could be like, hey, let's just sit down and have a talk where I treat you with respect.
Because they know it's like they do something bad, and if they own up to it, they're going to get punished. So I think that's why they were like, no, I didn't do these things. Instead of, like you said,
it's like it's all they
creating
know.
An environment of like, okay, listen, like we need to sit down and talk about this. Like what you did was bad, but I'm glad you told the truth.
Yeah.
And like, yes, there will be repercussions, but not to obviously like, because it was like probably, oh well, now you're gonna get rough sex.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so of course you're gonna be like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But then also it's like, why would you put yourself in a position to fuck up in the first place if you know that shit's going to be bad? For example, I mean, Lyle got kicked out of Princeton for plagiarizing. Like, you're copying off of someone's test. Why wouldn't you just study or take the F? If you fucking fail, isn't that, I feel like that's not as bad as getting kicked out of an Ivy League college, you know? So it's like, I don't understand the thought process.
Well, again, I think it's something like that kind of thing. It's like, it's something that comes out later in life, because in your early life, you weren't taught taking responsibility or being disciplined about things. Also, the things that they wanted really didn't matter for them, for the parents. So, you know, the whole thing, like trying with tennis left and it's like, have you ever sat down with your child and be like, what sport do you like? Do you like this? Because it doesn't look like you're enjoying it. It doesn't look like you're doing that well. So it's, those are like him getting kicked out of Princeton from plagiarizing is consequences of the way they were raised by their parents.
True.
You know, because I agree with you. I'm like, dude, there's so many other ways, but it's like, do I blame him? You know, like I could say all of that, but you and I were not sexually abused by our parents or emotionally abused by our parents. You know, and that's what we know. We don't know how the day-to-day was in that household. You know, having the dad cheating left and right, having the mom depressed and suicidal because of the cheating, not because the dad fucking the kids. No, she was depressed because he was having an affair.
Yeah.
You know, it is like getting kicked out and doing all those like petty crimes. I'm like, I can't blame him. They were acting out.
Exactly. It's
you
like
know? Especially Erik. Like, I can't believe he was still being abused when he was like fucking 17. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I can't get over that it was still going on. It's like, I would have, but then again, I would have. I don't know the feeling, but I would have chopped his dick off. You're tall now, you're big.
Yeah.
But I don't know what growing up with that.
And I think at that point, it's like when it happens, you just become numb. Like you probably like zone out mentally. Like you just try to go to another place and then just hope that it ends soon.
A lot of victims of sexual assault say that, like, well, not a lot of them. I just feel like every time I hear cases like this, they say that when it's happening, it's like they're out of their bodies and that they're seeing it happen and they can't do anything.
I'm feeling helpless.
So I wonder Yeah, I wonder if that's how he felt too.
I would think so.
You know?
And he said it was like 2-3 times a month.
Yeah. Kill me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Ew. And again, like, that guy definitely had issues because you're sexually abusing your child. You're having affairs. And you treat your wife like a piece of shit.
I wonder
too.
if it's true, that whole scene when he goes to New York and he hires that escort or whatever, and his whole obsession with the Romans.
Maybe.
Like, I'm curious if that is what happened.
Toughen you up.
Yeah. So weird, because I love he's like, I'm not into that gay shit. Suck my dick.
Yeah, I was like, thank God he's not into it. Imagine if it was.
Yeah, I don't know. The psychology of it, too. And then it's like, I wonder if it really is true about his upbringing. Because they do go back a little bit of, like, how he and Kitty met and, like, them disobeying their parents and getting married. And then he calls his mother one night and says, like, how dare you? Like,
you know,
basically you sexually abused me. So, because that happens, I think, where it's like, if it happens to you, then you do it to someone else, and just sort of
it's usually
continues.
like that.
So, I mean, rough, but the acting.
The acting was beautiful. I also want to talk about the set. Because I remember seeing pictures of their house. I remember, like, when I heard about this story a long time ago, I think I looked it up, if I'm not mistaken, and I remember seeing, like, the house and, you know, the car. Like, the set, everything was identical. And I think even choosing the actors. Like, Erik looks a lot like Erik.
I think they chose them pretty well.
Like, a lot. I can't talk about Kitty and Jose. I have no idea. But oh god, the acting.
What did you think of Nathan Lane, his character, Dominic Dunn? I kind of liked too that it was like from his perspective. Sometimes too, when he would like have his dinner parties, and they'd be like, "Oh, what are they up to in jail now?" And it'd be like, "Oh, well, Lyle has a girlfriend," and then like show Lyle in prison and talking to Norma on the phone or whatever.
I mean, I feel like Nathan Lane can't do anything wrong. Like, that guy, angel baby on earth. I loved his character so much, and the moment I got teary was when he was saying his story, about his daughter, you know. And I actually looked it up because I was like, wait, did this really happen? And it did, and it's just so fucking heartbreaking. I can't imagine what it would be to be a parent and have this happen to your child by the person that they loved, you know? So I think that he portrayed that person really, really well. And I Javier Bardem too.
He was
the dad.
Amazing. So good. If he doesn't get nominated, I think I'll be surprised.
I think he will definitely get nominated. He will. I also, as a person that is from Dominican Republic, he portrayed Latin men perfectly, 100%. He did such an amazing job. I was like, oh my god, this is, you know, my dad was a musician, so he was never like that. Like,
he's the exception.
Like, no, yeah, but that's how most men in Latin America are, and he did such a good job. That up and down,
I was gonna say the roller coaster and the unpredictability. Like it.
Yes, like you never knew what he was gonna do. Like when he takes him to like get the wig, and he's like no, like I can I try another one or some shit like that. Like Lyle is like, no, I don't like it.
Yeah, what if I don't want to wear
like,
one?
Can we try a different way? And he's like, suck it up. Like he's like almost like fucking fuck you, you know, I'm fucking, you're gonna fucking wear it. And then he goes and gives him a kiss in the head.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, oh my fuck. Like, it's like these kids were looking for approval, but
yeah, or when
but they were also being sexually abused. I know,
it's
him.
such a mind fuck, and like emotionally too. And like when they committed those burglaries, and he goes and he picks them up from the station, and you can tell they're like, what's gonna happen? And they get in the car, and Lyle's like, Dad, we're so sorry. And he's like, no. I was shitting my pants. I'm like, what the like, is he gonna lash out? What's gonna happen? And then he just starts crying, and you're like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of the car, and then Lyle starts getting out. He's like, stay in the fucking car. And then he's like, get away from me. Get away from me. I was like, whoa! What's happening? Like, it was just, so good. Because I was scared of him. I was so scared of him the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like, it's like
right, that's why I'm like,
you know?
I don't blame them. If that's really how he was, I probably would have shot him too.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, again, like, this is not a thing, like, in a moment. Like, this was a fucking build-up, you know? This is something that they've been trying to get away from since they can remember life, especially Erik, you know? And I'm sure Lyle was the way that he was because he had such a fucking guilt of what he did to Erik, and knowing that what he got rid of later, Erik was the one that was getting it for years. You know, so it's like a guilt trip of like, I did it to my little brother, but I also didn't fucking protect him from our parents. So it was like I don't know, like I think he would make himself feel good by acting like tough.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I got this. And it's like, no, honey, like you're a disaster right now, and it's okay. You know, it's okay for you to feel the way that you feel. You don't have to pretend.
And I wonder too if it's like some of it was facade. So like when that car salesman, I don't know if this is true, but apparently that car salesman who sold Lyle that little convertible, and apparently he was like, oh, thanks for this piece of shit car. I don't know if that's true, but
if it was, that's so fucked up, because that car is
$30,000, which in the like mid 80s, late 80s, like that's a lot of money. Like even now, that's a good amount. So yikes! But I wonder if it's like he tried to push the boundaries with his father. Like he acted like a spoiled brat because of the things that had happened to him. Like it was like, well, yeah, exactly. Hate. Like the anger and the hate, and like you've done. Like, you sexually abused me, so, like, what else are you going to do? Because I think at one point he was like, yeah, hit me. You know, like, what else are you going to do? You've hurt me. You've broken me down emotionally and mentally. So physically, let's fucking go, because that's the least of my worries. Yeah. So I kind of feel like he was...
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Right, like, he was kind of a jerk on purpose to, like, test his father and push him. So it's like, maybe to outside people seem like spoiled brats, but... they were acting like that because of things that were happening behind closed doors. So.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. It's like Lyle, it was really hard to have any compassion for him.
He was kind of a dick.
But then if you think about it, it's like, you know, maybe that was a way of him protecting himself.
Defense mechanism.
You know, like sometimes you don't want to, have those feelings or remember those feelings or You know, maybe he didn't want that to define him. Which is really, like, you know, when you've been a victim of that's part of you for the rest of your life, you know. But also it was the 80s, you know, toxic masculinity at its peak, you know. There's so many layers to it. We could talk about this forever.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot.
But I wanted to say that the director did an amazing job. You know, the actor, everyone went to work.
Yes.
Every
I mean, it was a great
person,
cast, but
everyone, including the judge, including the defense attorney at the end in the last episode.
When they do the second trial,
he did an amazing job. The guy that comes as a juror.
Yeah.
After
God,
the lady has like the heart attack.
Yeah.
Did you laugh?
I think I was like, oh, that's what you get. That's what you get. You're getting so worked up about how you want to crucify these poor kids, and you're sick of their shit.
Yep.
Well, God struck you down. He said, "Excuse me, ma'am. This is not up to you to decide."
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
not today.
Satan.
and then they just bring this guy, and just seeing that juror's point of view right away.
Voice of reason.
It was like, I understand what he's saying, and I feel what he's saying.
Because it's true, because he said at the end of the day, we're the ones who have to live with this decision. So can you go to bed at night and feel okay with what you're going to do to these guys? Because here's my thing. I don't think they deserve to be life in prison. You know, I think with everything that happened, because I do think that they were abused. So I think with everything that happened to them, the fact that they were young, I mean, they were 18 and 21, which, like I said, they're young. They aren't fully developed with, you know, their brain chemistry and, like, logics and everything. Okay, yes, they killed their parents. So let them serve time. But I don't think they should spend their life in prison, because I feel like it's a one and done. You know what I mean? Like they could be released into society, and they're not going to do it again.
Somebody said that they
violent,
weren't like abusive
exactly.
to any other people or violent. Yeah, I did think they deserve to go to jail for sure. I don't know how I feel about life sentence, but a really, really long time. It would have been good. And then after that, I actually would have had them in prison for a long time, and then a mental hospital. These kids had like a really bad situation at home, and you don't heal from that like that, you know, like from going to jail. That's not gonna fucking heal your heart, you know. And I think, like, if the thing is, for me, like, the law here is like super fucked up in that sense, you know. So let's say, hey, you're going to jail for 20 years, you get out, you're still fucking young. Let's say that. You have to have like mandatory things after that, not like, like, put him a thing and like community work, like
therapy.
None of that. You need therapy. You need to go to meetings, you know, of sexual abuse. You need to do charity work. You need to do so many fucking things. You need to be a fucking role model from this, you know, and that's really fucking hard to do, you know, but there's ways to, you know, what they went through, if that happened, which I agree with you, Trace. I think it did happen, and And let's say maybe it didn't happen that bad. But, again, for you to want to kill your parents, your fucking parents, something really fucking bad was happening in there. So, I think in that sense, them being able to, you know, go free if they would have been able to, how are you gonna make sure this doesn't happen ever again? How are you going to be a person of, you know, a leader in this community of not letting shit like this happen again?
I think part of it, too, is like a psych evaluation. I wonder, too, because they kept saying that they're like sociopaths and psychopaths. Did they have a psychiatrist, like, unbiased, like, go in and give them an exam?
I didn't see any of that. Nothing.
If I'm the defense attorney, I'd be like, we're going to hire someone who's, like, unbiased, come in, give you guys tests, and then
lie detectors.
Sure, and confirm it.
When they were telling the stories.
And confirm it, too. So it's like, well, we had this doctor come in. He's had this many years of experience. He knows what he's talking about. And he's sat with them extensively and talked and come to the conclusion that they are not sociopathic. You know? So, like, you can rule that out. You know? So it's like if they're not showing emotion, not showing feeling.
None of the psychology part was in it.
So,
none of it.
And I didn't look it up to see whether or not they did it in, like, the real case, but because I feel like that would make a difference too, you know, because they're saying, oh, Erik's not showing emotion. Okay, well, it's not because
it's like you don't tell people how to
it's
grieve.
not because he's a sociopath. It's because maybe he's numbing himself, reliving these experiences, and that's a normal reaction to trauma, you know. So it's like you can explain these things in their favor. So I don't know if she did that, but I feel like that would have been a good idea.
Yeah, it would have been a great idea, but they didn't believe in shit like that.
True.
I mean, even the dad was like, I don't believe in this therapy. You just gotta come, get it done, and that's it. Sign it. Bye. Period. Do you have any fun facts?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
you do.
So
when they're brand new, I never know. Because this show came out like
yes, it is very new. So I tried to break it up a little bit so that I would talk a little bit about the show and then what like they put in the show versus what really happened, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So as far as the show itself, Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story has been the most watched series on Netflix for the second week in a row, with 153.8 million hours viewed. And that was, the date for that was September 23rd through the 29th. So last week. Well, for us, it's last week. It's a 57% increase from 97.5 million hours that it was watched in its debut week. Which, first of all, holy shit, that's a lot.
Wow. I'm also thinking about the amount of money I fucking pay for Netflix right now. And the amount of people that are paying for that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's up to 20. It's up to 20.
It's just gonna keep climbing. But...
Yep.
Netflix has announced a documentary that will tell the brothers' story in their own words. So keep your eyes peeled. And then Nicholas Alexander Chavez, who played Lyle, his real hair was styled to look like a toupee. So he wasn't wearing a wig. It was his real hair, but the hairstylist tried to make it a certain way to make to it look like it was a wig. Because, like, as I mentioned, he really did like lose all of his hair, and it was probably from stress. So whether it was from whatever, I mean, come on, you're 20 years old and you're losing your hair. There's issues there.
What's happening at home?
That's insane. Okay, now more of the real side of things. Okay, this is a little long. I'm sorry. So,
Okay.
Erik and Lyle never did go out the night of the murders. In the TV show, it shows them going to the movies to try to get the Batman tickets, going to that Taste of LA, all that stuff to try to create an alibi. Now, none of that happened. They stayed in the house the entire night. Now, the cops did ask them, where were you? And then they lied and said, oh, we were at the movies. But they never actually went out of their way to go and try to create the alibi.
Yeah. Okay.
So Lyle did testify in court that he sexually abused Erik, but it was once in the woods when Erik was 8, and it was with a toothbrush. And that was it. And then he never did it again. I know. Fucking terrible. So the first trial, because there were 2 trials, as we saw, and if you haven't seen it, you need to. But in the first trial, which was in 1993, they were actually tried separately with 2 different, jurors.
Yeah.
In the show, they show them being tried together. Obviously, I think that's just
together.
for time and whatever. So, in real life, they were tried separately. And then it led to a mistrial. In the second trial in 1995, Lyle, he didn't take the stand, and there was no testimony about the sexual abuse, as it was not permitted in court. So yeah, that was like non-existent, which was basically the whole defense. So that's why, like, that whole second trial,
Wow.
I mean, they just...
That's why she kept saying objection.
Yeah.
Objection.
Had no
Objection.
And I think also he was the judge the first time around, and when she had that group with the women jurors, and they were leaving, and the one stopped and said, actually, I don't think we wanted to tell you to your face, but the men didn't like you. And I think that changed her, the lawyer. I think even when Erik tells her, guess what? No one likes you.
Yeah.
You know, so like hearing that,
Yeah.
her attitude changed.
Yeah.
I think the judge was harsher. It was just, I mean, that whole trial was just fucked.
A lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, that earthquake that they show, I think it's like episode 6, that really did happen. It was in January of 1994, and it was a 6.7 magnitude, which, yeah, that's pretty big. So the woman, her name is Norma Novelli, and she actually did meet Lyle in person in prison, and then they continued their friendship speaking on the phone. She claims that Lyle consented to being recorded because she couldn't take notes fast enough. During the first trial, she learned that she could make money from the tapes themselves, so she sold them to Dove Books for $12,500. I mean, listen, girl, make that money.
Smart.
I can't
money.
be mad at it. Erik's lawyer, Leslie Abramson, she actually helped Erik to fundraise funds for his second trial. Because remember, like, they're broke. Obviously, with them being in prison, they're not going to get any money, even if they were in the will. So in March of 1996, she sent out letters with her own firm's letterhead soliciting donations to try to reach $1 million. I don't know how much she ended up raising, because she did end up defending Erik pro bono. So I don't know how much money she did or did not get, but she really believed in him. She was in his corner for sure. Lyle and Erik, they had actually met O.J. Simpson years before, when Jose signed OJ on to do commercials for Hertz. which they mentioned that a few times that he had worked for them before going into music and whatever. Lyle even recalls throwing a football around with him and his brother, and they were gifted autographed footballs. The thing the show got wrong was that it was Lyle, not Erik, who advised OJ to take a plea deal. Dominic Dunn, who is Nathan Lane, he did cover the trial for Vanity Fair. He never insinuated the brothers had an incestuous relationship, and he later reported that he had doubt that they were sexually abused, and he praised their acting on the stand.
Wow.
Which I think that goes back to what happened with his daughter, and her killer had said, the what they call the abuse excuse. So I think it was hard for him to find sympathy, I think, a little bit. Lyle married a woman, Anna Erickson, in 1996, but they got divorced in 2001. Then in 2003, he married a woman named Rebecca Sneed. They're still married. And Erik got married in 2003 to Sammy Sockman. So I'm guessing the Tammy that we heard about in the show, that really is, that's his wife. They're still married to this day. After years of repeated requests to transfer prisons, Lyle was finally relocated in 2018 to the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego, where Erik is being held, and they're going to continue to live out their life sentences, but they're together. So that's kind of nice.
I know. I was so happy at the end. I was like, thank God. Because
I mean, it's rough enough.
When they separated them, I was like,
it's hard enough being in prison. So it's like, at least if you can be with someone that you love and know.
With your sibling.
Currently, more than 300,000 people have signed a petition to free the brothers. So people are trying. I think they're trying for a retrial, and new claims have come forward, including a member of Menudo saying that Jose raped him. And Erik had written letters months before the murders about the abuse and the fear he had of his father. So.
It wasn't Ricky Martin, right?
Didn't say.
Not Chayanne. These were,
I don't know.
Those were my Menudo boys. Then they became like solo artists, but
I mean,
maybe. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So I mean, if that is true and that's happening, then it's like, okay, this just makes it more believable, right?
Proves.
Like if he was doing this to other people, he has other victims. Who's to say that he wasn't doing it to his sons? Right. Exactly. So.
Wow.
Rough.
Wow. That was really good, Tracy. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
I don't have any words right now because it is a really, really dark case.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. It's heavy.
It is so heavy. And I hope, like, everybody, watches the show because it's really, really well done. And, I try to watch it, like, one episode per day because I didn't want to go to bed with that feeling, and it was digestible. And really, really sad. But it's important that people watch so you kind of know if somebody's getting, like, sexual abuse out there. People don't kill people just to kill. I've always said that. Like, there's always something there behind all of that. But to finish on a happier note, we have Joe as a guest next week. Yay! And we're actually gonna film next week's episode. We're gonna be all together, which is really exciting. And I can't recall what we are discussing.
I think we're doing Salem's Lot. Yes.
Yes, that's
so
exactly
based off of
it.
Stephen King's novel, and I know they've done shows, they've done movies, so this is going to be an HBO Max reboot, remake, so we'll see how this one goes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
was going to say, I just hope
season.
that it's spooky, creepy, scary, so.
Yeah, I hope so, too. I'll definitely. My boyfriend is out of town, so I
was gonna say you can't watch it by yourself.
Watch it
no.
No, thank you.
No, turn off all the lights, close the blinds.
Oh my God, I don't like seeing that dark there, and I'm stressed out already. You know,
I get it.
Jesus,
yeah, I understand.
Well. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening to us today. We hope you're liking this spooky season, and Monsters is really spooky and sad.
2 thumbs up. It's great,
but we do give it 2 thumbs up. I forgot about the Rotten Tomatoes. I can give it to you right now. Hold on.
I hope it's at least 80% or higher.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, sometimes I'm a little iffy with Ryan Murphy. But
No.
What is it? 54.
It's 44. I'm speechless. That's really fucking bad. And I think this is an 85 show. 86, 87. It's so well done.
The acting.
The audience, the acting. The audience gave it a 53. Which I disagree
wonder
as well.
if it's just like such a heavy topic that it makes people uncomfortable. And they're just like, I can't do this. It's terrible.
Okay, I'm going to read to you like a little bit of this top critic review. The second season of Ryan Murphy's biographical crime anthology literally doesn't know when to stop. If you want to credit this to ambition, then there are rewards. But if you lean towards lurid excess, Monsters certainly incriminates itself.
Damn.
That's so mean.
People are savage. They go hard.
There is an audience review that gave it 1 star out of 5. It says, imaginary letter for the creators. If I could look at it only as a piece of art, as a moving picture, as a movie, a drama that someone dreamed for the screen, I would say it was pretty much okay. But unfortunately, I can't do that.
Shit.
Because it wasn't fictional. Yo, these people are... Oh, listen to this one. Episode 5 would have been regarded as one of the greatest achievements in television had it belonged to practically any other shows. But plunked in the middle of Monsters, it comes across as positively vile. These are like top critics.
I thought it was a nice way to break things up too, because everything it like sort of like moves pretty quickly, like scene to scene, and this one you just sort of sit in it, like you are just there those 36 minutes, like you're in it, and I think it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
This is like a half-C review. It says, Monsters proves itself capable of confronting a complex case with sensitivity, which makes its increasing sensationalism and salaciousness all the more frustrating. So I think this just like... I feel like it's more like people's point of view of the case rather than the show.
Right.
You know, I think, because like one of them says like, well, this is not, like, I can't rate it because it's not fictional, basically. like that audience person said. But it's still a show. Like, if you are reviewing it, you gotta take the case out of it. You know, it's a show. Like, you have to, actors, direction, it's photography. You know, all those are the things that matter. You know, I don't know.
And some of this, it's not
whatever. You know, we disagree.
I mean, our opinions are the only ones that matter in this. And we're gonna give it 86. We'll give it an 86. So
thank you. 86 and 2 thumbs up.
All the thumbs. I thought it was really good. So
I thought it was great. Really, really well done. Also eye-opening, because I also feel like there were things that I didn't know that actually did happen. Like the whole thing with the therapist. Like, I had no idea that was like a whole a whole thing, you know. So it's a great show. We recommend it. And that's it for today.
Woo, we did it. Thanks for sticking with us. This is probably
we
a
did
little bit
it.
long, but it was a lot to unpack.
So. That's okay. Almost 2 hours.
So.
Whoops.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, beautiful people. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week we'll talk to you next week with our favorite bitch, Joe.
Excited.
Yay.
All right. Until next time.
We'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.